What does it take to be a financially empowered woman? And what can financially empowered women do together to change the world? A shocking statistic is that around 400,000 women in Australia are at risk of homelessness, and the cause of this is the lack of education about how to build a financial foundation, starting even before we first enter the workforce and well into our retirement years. My name's Dion Payne, and I'm the founder of the Financially Empowered Women podcast. I'm passionate about ending homelessness, and as part of that passion, I chose to look at the systemic barriers that are causing homelessness for women in the first place. The Financially Empowered Women podcast is designed to bring you the best experts from around the world to increase your financial know-how and give you practical and women-specific tips to overcome the challenges that you might be facing. Challenges such as how to negotiate a better salary, demystifying super, or how to navigate a separation and ensure the assets are distributed fairly. My role is to provide you with the best information out there to change your trajectory and become a financially empowered woman, because you deserve it and the world needs you more than ever to own your worth and help others to do the same. Welcome to the very first episode of the Financially Empowered Women podcast. Today I'm going to share with you why I started the podcast in the first place, share a little bit about my story, and also let you know where we're going with the podcast as well. I started the Financially Empowered Women podcast because I really wanted to understand why women over 55 are the fastest growing group facing homelessness, and why there's over 400,000 women over 45 that are facing homelessness right now. If you notice a steady stream of debris floating down a river, you might start by clearing it out as it appears, but if it keeps happening, eventually you'd go upstream to figure out where it's coming from and address the root cause. It's the same with homelessness. We can help people when they are homeless, but how do we address the root cause so we stop it happening in the first place? What I found is that there's many reasons for this increase in female homelessness. Firstly, we really have to talk about the gender pay gap, where on average men earn more than women because women take time out of the workforce to raise children and care for elderly relatives. Then, when they do return back to work, women tend to look for roles that have flexible hours, so they're not at the same earning capacity that they were before they went to have children. As a result of this, there's far fewer women in CEO and upper management roles, and more women in traditionally female roles, which are often undervalued and underpaid. And because of that, the compounding effect of super is not working in favour for women, because there's less money being invested over a shorter period of time. Then if you add a divorce and a separation, this is according to the Australian Institute of Financial Studies, more women are financially disadvantaged as a result, mostly because they're the primary caregivers. So you can see there's a number of issues that are causing this negative compounding effect. Nobody ever thinks it's going to happen to them until it does. And as a result, more women are becoming financially vulnerable and more at risk of homelessness. So a little bit about me. I have been in the property development industry for the past 11 years. I started small and did about 3 or 4 renovations and subdivisions. And then I started on an affordable housing project myself. That project had its ups and downs, but at the end of the project, I walked away with a 25% per annum return on my investment. So in simple terms, for every $1,000 that I put in, I got $250 back. And that's a pretty good return, considering that most residential property investments are yielding around a 4 or 5% return at the moment if you're lucky. And if you're leaving your money in the bank, you might be lucky to get a 6% per annum return on investment. So doing that project, I realised that actually doing affordable housing, doing something meaningful for the community, making money as well, that was a real game changer for me, and I really wanted to do more of that. And that's the route that I went down, but eventually I realised that actually development isn't really for me. It's quite a cutthroat industry and I'm not best suited to that. So I ended up working with a developer who was creating affordable homes and raising capital for him. So basically talking to investors and inviting them to participate in these projects. Now that was a success and really wonderful developer to be working with, and I decided to set up high impact property investments to expand that more and to work with other people. That developer actually ended up starting a project to build a home for women over 55. So the idea was that there were 4 women in that particular property. They were each paying an affordable rent, and for the developer it was a cash flow positive investment property. So it was a win-win, and again it cemented in me that there is this win-win way to do property, and why would we do it any other way? In 2022 I wrote the book Ethical Property Investing to share how investors can achieve double-digit returns through investing in affordable housing, sustainable housing and inclusive housing as well. Since then, I've raised over $45 million for ethical property investments, and during my time in the property industry, I've helped over 40 investors to achieve double-digit returns through property as well. I love property, I love the transformative nature of property, and I love sharing my knowledge around the subject as well. Given the amount of time that I've been in the industry for, I've thought really long and hard about homelessness and what causes it, and whether it's a solvable problem. And my belief is actually it's a solvable problem, and my personal mission is to inspire as many people as possible to find holistic solutions to it. When I did the research on it, as well as the supply of homes, I really saw that it was the lack of financial education and access to resources that speak to the experiences of women and give practical tips on how to be financially stable through all phases of life. That was also a missing piece. So the Financially Empowered Women podcast is designed so that each week you can hear from experts in the personal finance and wealth creation space, delivered by women in the industry for women, specific to the things that challenge us so that we can grow. Most importantly, the Financially Empowered Women podcast is going to be fun, because being a financially empowered woman means that you can inspire other people to do that as well. So if you'd like to be part of the conversation, I encourage you to join our community over at womenforhomes.com. That's women, 4, homes.com, and the link is available in the show notes. The Women for Homes community is free to join, and I'd love to see you there. So come on in, come and say hi, and welcome aboard.